Hey, all my Facebook followers, and just those of you that follow me on the internet. I'm Tom Novak. This is your Novak weather update now that is brought to you by Weather Safe Restoration. Those are my good friends in the Twin Cities. They service all of Minnesota, western Wisconsin. They take care of the exteriors of your house, roof, siding, all that kind of stuff. You give Weather Safe a call if you have any issues with your home or business for that matter. Give him a call. Mike and his team over there at WeatherSafe will help you out. Hey, we're going to be focusing mostly, for at least in this video, on the first week of January, because I think that's when there's going to be a big weather pattern change that takes place here over much of the United States, including Minnesota and Wisconsin. What you're looking at right now are the 500 millibar heights in the atmosphere. These are the anomalies or departures from normal. Blue areas, purple areas, usually more inclement weather. They show you where heights are shrinking or contracting. And of course, red areas, which you see right here up in much of Canada, these are rising heights or an expanding atmosphere that's often associated with warmer than normal conditions. And so what we have right now, look at this. This is what I would consider a block with rising heights and a ridge over Canada. This has been in place, it seems like, for the last couple of months. It is an El Nino weather pattern. It keeps storm systems over the southern United States. And you can see one big one right now over much of the United States. This is what brought us all our rain here over the last 48 hours. Now, what I want you to concentrate on, what's happening up here in Canada. Look at these heights again. Like I said, this is a ridge, heights in the atmosphere that are expanding, and this has been the case now for the last several months. But watch what happens here as we go through time. So the rest of this week and into this weekend, these heights will still be rising like they are now. And like they have been for the last couple of months. But take a look at what happens in the first week of January here. This is the GFS computer model guidance, or the American modeling. You can see that by about January 5th, 6th, and 7th, heights in Canada and the northwestern United States are falling. They're starting to crash. This tells me that there's going to be a storm system that develops somewhere in the Rocky Mountains and central, maybe even northern plains, and then that's going to shoot east and northeast, the way it appears, into the Great Lakes region as we head towards that latter half of the first week of January. And a lot of it has to do finally with some crashing heights just to the north and west of the upper Midwest. Again, this is the GFS computer model guidance. Now, when we show you the European guidance, take a look at what happens. Basically the same thing. These heights are still expanding over Canada and much of the northern United States here, at least through the New Year's holiday. But then as we head into not this weekend, but next weekend, so right around January 5th, 6th, and 7th, you can see falling heights near and just west of Minnesota. This would tell me that a pretty large trough is going to develop over the heart of the United States, perhaps the central sections of the plain states, and then that would mean a storm system would shoot northeast, and we could be on the cold side of that storm system. And if that is the case, that would mean some snow. Imagine that, some snow over the upper Midwest, including southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. These are the temperatures at 5,000 to 7,000 feet in our atmosphere. And look at how warm it is over western and southern Canada and the northern United States all the way through the New Year's holiday weekend, this coming weekend. But this is the big change. Right around January 5th, and you can see the timestamp up here. So this would be next Friday, the 5th. Look at the cold air that finally builds over western and northern Canada, and that cold air is trying to penetrate south in the United States. That, again, tells me that a storm system will likely develop, if all things hold together, over the central United States, and that storm system would shoot northeast. Of course, it usually needs a strong jet stream to play with, and that's what it looks like we would have. Now, this is a long ways away, so take this with a grain of salt, but look at this. We have a strong jet streak moving up out of Oklahoma and Kansas, northeast towards Wisconsin on the 5th of January, so this would be approaching late next week, long ways out, but it's fun to watch this. And yes, we would be in the left front quad of that jet streak as we head into January 5th, 6th, and 7th. Long story short, we would have cold air just northwest of us, clashing with warm air coming up out of the Gulf of Mexico during that time period. That would be a great recipe for a storm system, and finally, the potential for snow over southern Minnesota and western Wisconsin. We'll have to watch this closely here over the next week or so. Until next week, it's going to be quiet, I think, for the most part here, not only this week, but then into this coming weekend. But let's keep an eye on this situation, this changing weather pattern for next week. Thanks a lot for joining me, everyone. Thank you, WeatherSafe, for sponsoring this. Take care.